to another episode of Randolph in Action. My name is Brian Howard, the Assistant Town Manager for the town of Randolph. Behind me is the brand new North Randolph Fire Station. We're going to take a tour with the Fire Chief, Richard Donovan, who's going to show us all the ins and outs of this brand new, beautiful structure. Chief Donovan.
Brian, how you doing?
Always a pleasure.
Nice to see you.
So we are in the lobby, is that the proper term to use, of the new fire station?
Yeah, I guess we'd call it the lobby, the central access point for the fire station right now.
Now, we're going to be taking a tour of the entire facility. We're going to start from here as we make our way through. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the project. A lot of folks at home, I think, see this as we took the old IHOP property, put up a brand new fire station. That's great, but this goes back a number of years, comprehensive fire study, feasibility study forward.
So we had a comprehensive fire study, amongst other things, that identified the need for a new fire station. With regard to the old fire station that we have next door, it was kind of falling into disrepair, so much so that it was not financially sound to actually put money into it to repair it. So the decision was made to go forward with a new building. Then we moved on to the feasibility study, which identified this location where the former International House of Pancakes were located. And the construction began sometime after last November.
Now, I think that one thing that I found to be very interesting was looking at the history of the Randolph Fire Department, in particular North Randolph, that there was a station, very small, that was somewhere in the neighborhood of what is now the Fireman House. I'm not sure what the current ownership of it is.
Correct.
But most people might still call it the Fireman House, the Stryer. And then in about early 50s, they built the station next door. Early 70s, added on to it.
Correct.
And here we are now, 40 years later, seeing the need to take it to that next step.
Exactly. Like I said, that building next door, the old fire station number 2, fell into disrepair. Prior to that, though, they did do a couple of additions to it, some upgrades during the 70s, as you said. But as time went on, it just started to disintegrate, and we decided to make the move to building a new complex.
Now, one thing that, as I was entering into the building, there is a bell, and because this is not Central Fire, I think a lot of folks see this beautiful building and they assume this is now Central Fire, this is where you are, this is where fire prevention is, but no, that's still up at Central. Right. So talk about the manning difference as far as staffing there versus here.
So what we did, this gave us some flexibility, moving people around, moving equipment around, which actually gave us more opportunities to serve the public in North Randolph, as we have been for years in the out of the headquarters station. We're now placing a ladder truck and an ambulance down here to respond in this area. For North Randolph, we're getting a lot of new buildings down here with the Rosemont project and the Avalon project, as well as the new project taking place down at Pasella Park. So we identified the need to kind of change our strategy, if you will.
So if somebody is going to, needs to speak to Central for fire prevention matters, permits, you don't come here, you still would go up there, but we think there'll be some confusion. Correct. That was understood that would happen.
Correct.
So if somebody comes here and everybody's out on call, they can still communicate back and forth with Central.
Right. A lot of work has been done on that effort to make sure that we had communication with this building, communication with people coming up to the doors that are in need of either emergency help or just need the services of the fire department, like you said, the permitting, what have you. So we have connected this station via video, and we're able to talk to them over that video phone and give them direction if no one is here. It's very often that this station is empty due to the fact that the firefighters are out on calls.
Now, the one thing that we wanted to show folks before we head off to the full tour is that there is an area over here
Sure.
that is available should there be some intermediate type first aid that's necessary.
Sure. What we've learned over the years is people come in for routine blood pressure assessments by our paramedics and EMTs. So we identified a spot particularly for that, to do that, so that if people come in off the street and want to get their blood pressure taken, also if people come in emergency situations, we can begin to assess their situation in this room while we're waiting to transport them.
And I think one of the great things about this project and the police project was that we were able to create some area to assist the public without getting into the secure areas of the building, and that wasn't something that existed previously.
Exactly. We didn't have a defined area for handling these types of situations where we could be separate from the actual workings of the fire station and have a place for the people coming in off the street to interact with our firefighters, as well as handle any medical emergencies, or like I said, if we're just dealing with that routine blood pressure check.
So now we're going to enter into a work area. This is set up so that report writing can occur. They come in off the ambulance.
Right. So over the years, we've evolved as a full service medical response unit where we have paramedics and EMTs. For the most part, we have paramedics in our ambulance. They're ALS equipped. So they have pretty extensive reports that they have to submit to the hospitals, emergency rooms that they respond to. And this gives them a professional area to actually make out those reports and submit them.
And it has the ability to pull up the laptop, connect it in, and off you
Exactly.
go.
We have Wi-Fi, telephone communication, printers, whatever needed.
Chief, why don't you describe to the folks at home which part of the station we're in now?
Right. So, Brian, right now we're in the bunker gear storage area where the firefighters store their gear, their firefighting gear, when they're not utilizing it. There's 30 lockers. We typically have 6 firefighters down here on 4 shifts, so we would actually need like 24 lockers, but we have some extras.
Now, I know that I always thought that in the old days you go down the fire pole and you run over to your locker, you throw on your gear, and in you go. Right off the bat, this is all one level, designed
Right.
specifically so that you weren't needing to go from a second level to the next level to go out to a fire. But the gear itself, they actually locate those that are on shift out in the vehicle.
Right. As you said, there's no second floor here, so there's no need for a fire pole to slide down. A lot of that is TV, where they actually run over to the to the gear locker and put it on at that time. We need it out there at the apparatus so that it's easily accessible for the firefighters. They put it on out on the apparatus floor, get in the vehicle, and leave. It's a more controlled response, if you will. As you can see in here, we have the firefighters' gear is inside the locker. We also have installed a charging system for their flashlights that are part of their turnout gear, which just keeps their flashlight fully powered at all times so that they're ready to go whenever they need it.
And one thing that was also considered in the design, and we're going to show the decam area and the laundry area, but it's very important for safety reasons, long-term health for the firefighters, that once they return from a fire, the equipment, as it comes back here, goes through a process.
Correct. So a lot of firefighters, a lot of the issues related to firefighter health run around the concern that we have a high rate of cancer. So whatever we can do to alleviate that possibility or the increase in that happening, we are now undertaking some of those issues with this new station. We try to keep it so that no gear, no contaminated fire gear makes it beyond a certain point here without being cleaned. The firefighters will use a second set of gear after a fire, so they'll have two sets of gear. One will be getting cleaned, and one will be able to be used by them for another situation.
So now we're going to head towards the living area, the
Sure.
living quarters.
So Brian, in here is where the firefighters have their bunk rooms. This is a typical bunk room that we have here. It's set up for 2 firefighters. It has their lockers inside. These are for their actual personal storage of toothbrush and what have you. But it's set up for 2 firefighters. We don't actually have 2 firefighters in each room right now. During heightened situations, increased weather situations, and other times where we'll increase the staffing, we'll have 2 people in each room.
So if there is a serious weather incident, and we've had our fair share of snowstorms and hurricanes, how many can you accommodate down here to service an issue like that?
So accommodating comfortably, we will be able to put 11 firefighters in here.
11 firefighters. And one of the things that we went through was making sure that the generator could in fact accommodate this building, accommodate the needs, the power needs, and also have a period of time that it would operate. So say we were in a situation where the power went out in North Randolph.
Right. We have a natural gas generator. It's fed by natural gas right off the street. So the source is unending, if you will, as long as the natural gas lines are intact. That generator can operate everything within this building that we see now, that we have operating right here today. So we have the capabilities to run this building right off that generator, and all the programs that are down here for it.
Now, from a command standpoint, these are the bunks for the firefighters,
Right.
that are ready to head out in time of need. The officers area.
Correct. What we did, you'll see Captain Jason Cox here. He's at the, we'll call it the captain's desk down here, and he's filling shifts right now. Everything that we have at headquarters, we're able to do down here as far as management. The captain has his own room, and this desk is in here for his operation of the basic firefighting duties of the day.
So, so for the folks at home, one of the roles is to actually staff and take in what's necessary as far as, so if a firefighter is going to be out on vacation or if is out sick, so that happens at the station level.
Correct. It used to happen at headquarters up on Memorial Parkway. We changed the logistics somewhat because we were changing the personnel down here. So we now have it refined where the officer can operate down here and handle all those personnel matters.
Excellent.
Jason, you want to say hi to the camera? Captain
I'm sure
Jason
he's
Cox,
thrilled. He's thrilled to be joining us today. That's good.
one of our captains on a shift and our training officer.
So where are we going next, Chief?
Why don't we head into the fitness room over here, Brian? And I actually set up some light weights. Maybe you can do a couple of repetitions for us.
Nah, I think I'm better off sticking with these 10s. Anything more than that is going to stretch it for
Sure.
me, that's for sure.
So again, this is another space that we identified a need for as we moved from the old fire station into our new building here. This gives the firefighters the opportunity to keep in shape while they're here and working. This equipment is actually bought by the firefighters union, but we give them the room to operate in.
Well, there's no question that the stress and the rigor of the job It's always a good idea to have this available for those who want to continue to keep themselves in the best shape.
Right.
This ladder here, from the outside, you see that beautiful bell tower.
Right.
However, this is not an area that, other than gaining access to the roof, this doesn't go to that very decorative looking area up top.
Well, it does access the roof and thus the cupola that's up there, and with the cupola that has the bell in it. That bell is actually stationary. It doesn't operate, but this ladder just accesses that point for servicing, maintenance, what have you. Now we'll see the other dorm rooms as we pass by. And like I said, these are the firefighters' personal lockers that they can keep all their toiletries and personal products in. We have 2 bathrooms in this area for the firefighters. Just a ADA compliant bathroom along with a shower in each one. All right, Brian, we're going to move along to the day room slash kitchen area of the station. This is all state-of-the-art kitchen appliances. We have a double oven, stainless refrigerator, stainless dishwasher, gas cooktop, and a Corian countertop. And the firefighters are actually able to sit up here at the countertop, sort of a breakfast area, if you will, and we also have a large table for them over here. This area over here will be the TV area. You can see their recliners. Basically, this is the hang-around room for the firefighters while they're not on a call.
So based on the 24-hour shift, they have an area here to be able to kind of make it a home away from home while they continue to service the residents of Randolph. This area here goes back to the point we were talking about before, communications between Central and here.
Right. It became a point of concern for me during the building of the station, how we were going to communicate with each other and with the headquarters and the North Randolph Fire Station. We came up with these message boards. They'll have their schedule on them or anything else that's happening within the department. Any announcements, any memos are put right on the message board, so both stations get the same information pretty much in live time.
At the same time, that's excellent. And this microphone here?
So this microphone is just for the public address system within this fire station.
Structure, okay.
This unit right here is a radio communication between us and our headquarters, so that the firefighters can communicate over the radio system.
And this here, when I see the list of the district and the street, brings me back to the old station next door, where you have them all up on the board.
Right. Similar. What this does is this is a breakdown of the responsibilities of this station. So this breaks down the streets that are first due for the North Randolph Fire Station. This just gives that list. It's called District 2, so we have District 1 in headquarters, and this is District 2. Just gives the streets that they're responsible to respond to.
Excellent.
Out here we have the outdoor patio barbecue area. Again, as you said, Brian, the firefighters are here for 24 hours a day. This just gives a space to hang out in between calls, and they're able to cook out here, if they choose to. Cook out in the summer mostly. Again, they have the fine equipment that we purchased for the station inside, but they also can utilize this equipment out here.
And I know we're going to talk a little bit about it later, but from back here you can see some of the architecture. One of the major focuses of certainly the town manager was we're building a fire station, a very important part of what we do and what we are and who we are, but this is a building that's going to be here for 50 plus years. It needs to represent who we are and really change
Right.
the look and feel of this stretch of 28 in North Randolph, and this is the back area, and you could certainly appreciate it, and you appreciate it even more so from the front.
Right, Brian. The town manager did have a significant input, if you will, into the architecture that we're looking at here today that's part of the fire station. We sort of wanted to, we took another building in town and looked at it and sort of wanted to match up the fire station so that it looked like that, and it looked like an old, an older fire station from the turn of the century.
For the folks at home, the residents, the business owners, the taxpayers, if you will, I'm sure they see that and they say, money well spent.
I think definitely money well spent. We'll go out actually onto the apparatus floor. The area that you were just speaking of, the glass doors, the red lights. I'll just give you the red lights that you speak of when you're driving by here. You can see these lights that are hitting us right now in our eyes. These are sort of a stop and go light for these doors. These are very expensive doors. The vehicles that the firefighters are driving have a blind area that they're not able to see when the door is actually totally up. So we want to know when the door is up. I had these installed so that we can have a red stop and a green go. So if you'd like, demonstrate the what happens.
Sure.
There you go.
It turns green. And that's very critical because, as you mentioned, if you're in the ladder truck and you have the
Right.
bucket ahead of you and you're driving,
There's an overhang, and over the years, it's just through trial and tribulation, I guess. We've had different issues where we've had incidents with hitting doors. So we learn things and we put them into this building to avoid those issues, hopefully.
That was that is, and those are on the front doors and the back doors.
They're on every door. Yeah, we have eight doors here.
And another important part of this design, and some may say separate of the architecture, maybe certainly in the top three, it's a drive-through station. Before, you used to have to, on Route 28, 4 lanes, you would have to back up and back into the station. So one of the key components to this design is to make sure that you now drive through the station.
Right, and that's one of the another one of the issues that we addressed in building this station. As you said, at the old fire station, we were backing in. It was very dangerous. Members getting into the street, the firefighters getting into the street and actually waiting for the truck to back up, and then dealing with the traffic. Now, it's a lot less stressful, not only on the firefighters as they drive into the building and don't disrupt traffic, but also on the commuters as they travel down Route 28. There's basically no stoppage for us unless we're pulling out and responding to a call. We're just seamlessly into the building and it's all done.
Storage, I know, was one of the key components to this station, limited storage before.
Right.
What are we looking at here?
So we took advantage of every possible space that we had. When we were constructing the building, the architects, talked with me. I talked with my firefighters, and we kind of melted in our needs into the space that we had here. That we were going to build the footprint of the building. And one of the areas that we addressed, and it's part of an efficiency area, sort of too, is our oxygen storage. We have it right here. And as you can see behind you, we have our ambulance right in the same bay. We're able to move our oxygen bottles, right over to the ambulance without any effort. So we have it stored right there. It's easily accessible for the firefighters.
And just to further upon that comment, one of the things I know that was important to the town manager and to yourself, and I know you highlighted it at the grand opening, was the men and women of the Randolph Fire Department, the union, working with you cooperatively throughout this process. They had a seat at the table, I know, during the feasibility study, and you continued that relationship through the design.
Right. We have a great working relationship with the union throughout the process of the building, We continually talked back and forth as to the needs of the firefighters with relation to what the building could give them. So there was always an open door policy by me, and the union was able to have a seat at the table, like you said.
Now, one thing I learned a lot about throughout this process of building the station is the Plymouth.
Sure.
The Plymouth system, it's, again, talking about health and safety, a key part of that.
Yeah, this is, like you said, another health and safety issue. We have diesel fumes. All these vehicles are run on diesel fuel, and they give off potentially carcinogenic materials. So we plug in to the vehicle as it's driving into the building this Plymouth system, which takes the exhaust directly from the exhaust pipe and pumps it out of the building.
And is it, if I remember correctly, it's magnets?
No, this application is actually controlled by pneumatically through air. So the vehicle pulls in, the firefighter attaches it to the exhaust pipe and pushes the button, and it holds on through a pneumatic cuff.
Was the earlier versions of these with a magnetic component?
They have another product that's magnetic based.
Okay.
So conversely, when the vehicle pulls out, as it pulls out of the building, this will automatically release as it gets to the end of its track, and so when the vehicle pulls out of here, it releases, and the vehicle's on its way.
Now the fire ambulance that's down here, one of the key components to the station. When we previously visited the original North Randolph station, storage of everything that's required for the ambulance was limited. The space that you needed, how it was accounted for, stored. This must be a huge upgrade.
Haphazard at best, as you mentioned, the storage that we had in our old facility next door. We now have a dedicated area to store all the medical equipment in this building, and it's directly adjacent, just as the oxygen bottles were, directly adjacent to the positioning of the ambulance.
So the men and women of the Randolph Fire Department, a significant portion are paramedics, and that is the highest potential level of service?
Correct. So we have the EMT level, and we have the paramedic level. The paramedics are ALS certified, are able to perform a lot more of the techniques that are needed in the medical field now.
And there's no question that Randolph residents often will call the town hall or stop by the town hall while they're doing business, and if they've had a recent experience with the fire department and your paramedics, I mean, they just rave about the service and the quality of care that they received.
Yeah.
It's top notch.
Quite frequently, I get calls or letters in regards to the actions that the firefighters have taken on a particular call, and I believe in the area we're known as some of the best around.
I would definitely agree and echo those comments. From a standpoint of the different vehicles that are down here, I want you to talk us through the different vehicles. People, they know a fire truck when they see one, they know an ambulance when they see one, but firefighting and the needs of fire rescue have changed.
Sure. This is right behind you. It's a forestry truck. We call it a squad. We send this in so we don't damage a more valuable piece of equipment like a $500,000 fire engine. So this unit will go into the woods, four-wheel drive, and we'll be able to get to the head of the fire more easily.
Was it last year or the year before that where there was, after a very dry summer, every so often, a little piece off of High Street, Blue Hills,
Typically,
small fires would break out?
Yeah, so I believe that we had a very serious fire season, like you said, maybe 2 or 3 years ago at the Nike site area, which is part of the Blue Hills. So we were up there quite frequently during that season for extensive woods fires.
So this has got a generator, it's got a pump.
So this has its own pump and water source. This is the water tank and the pump for the vehicle is here, and the booster hose that we're able to move through the woods and attack the woods fires. So moving on, if you want to go over to the next bay here. This is one of our brand new state-of-the-art fire pumpers, if you will, or fire engine. This is an E1 1,500 gallon a minute fire engine. We just got 2 of these in October. One is, the engine 2 is down here, and we have engine 1 at headquarters. They're identical.
Now, the newer trucks, they have some of the same equipment on it as the ambulance does now?
Right. So these are called what's called Type 5 ambulances, meaning that they can't transport, but we do have all of our ALS equipment on these vehicles. So whatever we're able to do with the equipment that's in an ambulance, we're able to do primarily with an engine that responds on a medical call. Now we're moving over to our ladder tower 1. This is part of the repositioning of apparatus to the North Randolph area. We didn't have space for this at the old fire station. And like I said earlier, this gives us more versatility in staffing down here, that we're able to put this large piece of equipment in this building down here.
And being this close to it right now, it really highlights, here's the driver, here's the overhang.
Yeah. So you're unable,
without the light system.
right, you're unable to actually see the garage door. And these garage doors especially are very costly. There's a lot of glass and powder-coated paint system. You know, they're a quality door, and we want to protect them. This is one of our newer pieces of equipment that we have. This is our tactical support unit. We're actually building this ourselves, and we're going to be sort of duplicating some of our efforts that we have on our fire engines, where we'd have backup equipment on this, as well as some equipment that we don't have room for on the engines or the ambulance or the ladder truck. And this will soon be responding to all building fires or other hazards that we respond to. And now down here we have our inflatable boat. This has an electric motor. It's just a small unit that we're able to get into a body of water quickly without much help, and we're able to go out and do what we have to if we're called upon to go into the reservoir or Norway pond, what have you. These pieces of equipment right here are newly acquired through a federal grant. This is our SCBA breathing system. So these are the packs that go on the firefighters' backs that they go into the fire with. You see the bottle gets placed right in this area here, the air bottle. A lot of people think it's an oxygen bottle. It's actually just air. So these are brand new. This was we were able to purchase these on a federal grant, a $200,000 federal grant, which gave us all new equipment. As with a lot of this firefighting equipment, it has dates. So our equipment was running out of compatibility with standards. So we were able to purchase this whole new platform with funds from a federal grant.
How long do you get out of an air pack?
Typically, they're called 30-minute bottles. Typically, you would get approximately 20 minutes out of that, just due to the breathing excessive breathing that you would be doing in the stressful situation that we operate in. Right here is one of our newer pieces of equipment. This is a four-wheel drive gator. We can use this to go into the woods if we have somebody injured. Anything off-road, this is the machine that we want to use to get in there, and you'll see it on a lot of the special events like the 3rd of July. We'll have this in place to quickly get in and out of areas that aren't as accessible with the larger ambulance.
Well, I know we've had cases where at Memorial Day, heat exhaustion has come into play.
Right.
And this vehicle was very important.
Right, so we're actually able to transport a person on a backboard on the back of this gator. And like I said, if they're in a situation where they're in the woods or they're in a tight area that it's difficult for us to get our ambulance equipment into, this is the equipment of choice.
Earlier we were talking about the uniforms and making sure that they are cleaned because of potential issues in regards to cancer.
Right.
This is the decon area. This is the laundry area.
Exactly. So we have, again, identified, as part of a need that when we were building this facility that should be in it. This is a decontamination area with access from the exterior, so you don't come through the building. You enter from the outside, enter into this spot, and we can decontaminate it, whether it be a firefighter or a civilian. In this area, you can see the shower that you would step under, and we would be able to decontaminate you in here, typical to like we used to see in our science rooms in high school. So this whole area is devoted to cleaning equipment and, as I just said, decontaminating people. This unit right here, it's very imposing looking. It looks like something out of a spaceship or something like that. This is our what's called our extraction machine. So the firefighters will put their firefighting gear inside here. It's basically a wash machine, but it's set up to actually handle firefighting gear. So it pulls the carcinogens and contaminants right out of the material. And as I said earlier, obviously we're trying to alleviate those issues which cause sicknesses later on, cancers and things of that nature. This unit right here, it's actually being used right now. This is the gear drying system. So once the firefighters have put their gear into the extractor, they put them in here, they dry, and they're able to utilize them more quickly than we have in the past.
So where are we headed to next, Chief?
Sure, Brian. We're going to head up to our SCBA room.
Now, SCBA, what does that mean?
Self-contained breathing apparatus. The apparatus that I showed you over on the floor earlier, that the firefighters, these units right here. So this is the actual pack, like I showed you, and then these would be the bottles that go in the pack.
So these hold, give or take, about 20 minutes of...
Those are called a 30-minute bottle, but when worn by the firefighter, it usually lasts about 20 minutes. Yeah.
And they get charged in this unit here.
Right. This is our state-of-the-art system. It's called the Cascade system for filling these bottles. We had a system at our other building. For one bottle, it would take somewhere in the area of 15 minutes to fill.
For one bottle.
This new machinery will actually fill the bottle, and I'm told less than 5 minutes. So we're able to get back into service with all our equipment, and it's a very efficient. It's a very efficient process that we're able to get right back in with the air bottles and put them back on the trucks. So what happens is you take a bottle, slide it right into this tube, connect it, and then through these valves, we're able to fill the bottle. And it's...
So before it was one bottle, 15 minutes.
Correct.
Now we're dealing with 3.
Less than 5.
Less than 5.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes each bottle, but you're right.
So that's a
very
significant improvement.
And we've already used this machinery on a couple of building fires that we had in town. It was remarkable the difference that was exhibited by this equipment as that the old equipment that we had in the other building. That was from 1987. It's tired. In its day, it did its job. But this is a very efficient piece of machinery.
And when we talk about economical heat savings, one of the things people don't realize as we make our way back out onto the bay floor is, and all the little details.
Sure.
These yellow lines and the coloring system of the blocks is to, again, make it as easy as possible to locate the vehicle and
Right.
allow for as many vehicles to be here.
Correct.
Inside.
So the lines, as you indicated, position the vehicle in the correct spot. The firefighter will actually put the tires as close as he can to that yellow line, which gives the correct position for the vehicle every time when it comes in. And you mentioned the floor. This is an epoxy floor. It's set up to keep a cleaner environment for us. You know, we're able to clean this floor a lot easier than just a raw concrete floor. And this floor is heated with radiant heating, so it's a more efficient process, especially in this large area. It's a more efficient heating process for us. So we're saving money in our utility costs by heating from the ground up. As you know, hot air rises, so we're coming from the floor up to the apparatus area with the heat. What we've also done is heated 10 feet out from the front doors and the rear doors to keep ice and snow away from these doors at all times.
And that was another huge improvement in this design, is having that radiant heating, the first 10 feet.
Right. Yeah, it just added to the efficiency of the building, the heating. Hopefully, we're dramatically cutting our energy costs.
So this building, through the leadership of the town manager over the last number of years, from the fire study to the feasibility study to the selection of the OPM, the architect, and the construction team, also our town council in supporting the funding of this. Hopefully, as people watch this video, the residents at home really can gain an appreciation for how their tax dollars were at work, because I certainly know that as somebody who was involved on the project, that it sometimes just so into the minutia of getting it built that even as we walk through it here today, I'm really appreciating what this does to support the fire and rescue and ambulance and medical support of our men and women of the department as they assist and service the residents and businesses of Randolph.
Right, you're definitely right there, Brian. The support of the firefighters is paramount. Also, the building itself is definitely an improvement to the North Randolph area. It's really aesthetically impressive, and like we spoke of earlier, the town manager had a huge hand in the design of the exterior of the building and how his vision was that it would appear, and it definitely came out really nice. I really am proud of it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful building.
Yeah.
And while the building itself is done, the project as you and I know it still has a little bit more work left to be done.
Right.
The Station 2 previous, we're going to be removing that and putting in a park space. What's the anticipation as far as time frames? And we still have some other lights we have to move.
So we're still, as you said, we still have some projects that we have to accomplish. We're going to be getting rid of the telephone poles along the access road that we have between the old fire station and the new fire station. So we'll eliminate all those above ground telephone lines, electrical lines, communication lines. Those will be eliminated, and as you said, the former Station 2 will be raised, hopefully within the coming weeks. It's a process that I'll have a big part in to get it to move along, as well as our Department of Public Works with Superintendent Brewer will be working together to accomplish that task. And like you said, the future of that space will be a park.
We talked about how difficult it was to pull this project off. It was a small site. You have 4 lanes of highway in front of you, an operational business behind us. There was dealing with Mass DOT and the utilities, getting the lights moved. It's very important that traffic stops on 28, so there's a question of having all of the traffic signals moved,
Right.
which has been done. When you think back now to this project, what is the culminating effect for you as the chief?
Well, I just think, it's like I said earlier, it's a building to be proud of for the town and for the Randolph Fire Department. And as you said, there was a lot of intricacies that went into it that you and I had a hand in, as well as the town manager and others. And we just came together as sort of a collaborative to get the job done. So, it's, like I said, I'm proud of the building, and I hope everyone else is.
Well, I know there's a number of times when we were trying to get certain things done, say for Mass DOT, and if I went into a meeting versus you going into a meeting, being the fire chief carried a lot more weight in that room than it would be if I was going to some of those meetings.
I was on a first name basis with a lot of people at Department of Transportation, because we are dealing with a state highway out here, and they have their rules that they have to follow, and we were able to work with them. They were accommodating to someone like myself not being as experienced in this, and they helped us work through the process.
Well, Chief, I want to thank you very much for giving us a tour of the brand new North Randolph Fire Station. It really is an impressive building and a great addition to the landscape of North Randolph.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you again for watching Randolph in Action. My name is Brian Howard, Assistant Town Manager for the town of Randolph. Again, I want to thank Chief Richard Donovan for this great tour of this brand new state-of-the-art fire station in North Randolph. Hopefully you can tune in to our next episode.